When you get into a situationship, every type of relationship takes two people to put work and effort in it. In a situationship, it'll either be one of you or both of you that is emotionally unavailable, or you don't want commitment. For me personally, it's both of us that were like that. If it's both of you that are toxic, that aren't putting forth the correct amount of effort, it's because you didn't take the time to really tell yourself what you want, take the time to understand who you are. If you are on the other end where you know what you want, you go out looking for it with a guy, maybe he makes a move on you first, and yet it still turns into a situationship, you still have to acknowledge that it is still your fault. You're setting yourself your standards and your boundaries, and you are not sticking to them, and you are not listening to them, and you are trying to mend yourself so you can stay with this person that isn't meeting your expectations. And you can't force someone to change. You can't force someone to meet your expectations. You can't force someone to love you the way that you want to be loved. And you can't love someone into making them love you. Regardless of where your position was in your situationship, you need to take accountability before you can truly move on. Some backstory on my situationship. I kind of met this guy, of course, on a dating app. I could already sense he was a bit more attached than I was, and I was kind of not being as vulnerable, putting up that front. And the thing was, that is what set the definition of the relationship, because I knew what I wanted and it wasn't something serious, and I think he was looking for something serious, but we both just enjoyed the attention, the acceptance. We just enjoyed the reassurance of two people wanting each other. He was not very emotionally available in a sense where he could not ask me how my day was. He could not ask me anything about myself. We wound up forgetting my birthday, and we would just get into so many arguments within the first month of this 4 or 5 month situationship. As time goes on, obviously, when we keep talking, I'm definitely more of like the masculine energy in the relationship. I'm constantly doing the fixing. I'm trying to help him. He doesn't know his purpose in life. I'm in college. As we go deeper into the relationship, more and more flags pop up. He lacked motivation. He was insecure, and he had an addiction. I'm not going to say to what specifically. It wasn't crazy. It was just he had an addictive substance that he would like to use because he was secretly depressed. But in the same vein, I had my issues too. I was very angry. I was controlling. I would also beg for him to ask me how I'm feeling, like help me navigate how I feel. And I would just think, oh, I do it to him all the time. Why can't he help me? Why can't you do this for me? And it's because, again, you can't change someone. I was also paying for a bulk of everything. I'll probably even put like a screenshot. You will see all the transactions that went through, how much money. Keep in mind, this is only with a part-time job, and I'd maybe work 15 hours every 2 weeks because I was a full-time student. Then when we would go out, I would usually pay for the dates. I would buy food, I would help with his gas, and him getting a job was great. What I soon realized after getting out of that relationship is I was still paying for so much, even despite him working, and it was because a bulk of his money went to the addictive substance that he had. And that I didn't register that because I didn't really understand how much that costs, the materials you need for said thing. And it's really frustrating to look back on when you work so hard at something and you feel like it wasn't appreciated or your value wasn't seen. After some time, he was emotionally checking out. There was just consistent arguing. He would go to work and he would talk to me differently. He would rather hang out with his coworkers, which is no problem, but he would do that instead of resolving the issues that we had, issues we always had. And thus it made him more attracted to a coworker and want to be interested in her. He didn't leave me for her. Obviously, that hurt me, and I had an insane amount of rage and anger because I had so much built up trauma from even past relationships that it was so easy to set me off and trigger me. When I had truly cut him off and I said, I'm no longer gonna be with you, it was so hard. It was such a back and forth of like, I'm with you, now I'm not with you. I'm gonna block you, and then we're back together. I had my roommate my friends would like come in and see me bawling, like my face would be red. At the end of the day, it's because I did not set standards for myself. I did not put proper boundaries in place when it came to dating. I was trying to date for fun when deep down what I really needed was a healthy partner that could also make me feel secure, because I am a confident person and I am a secure person, and I've always known what I could offer someone. I was constantly trying to find that. I was constantly giving that so I could get that for myself. And what I had to realize was everything that I'm giving and I'm trying to receive it from someone else, I just have to take the time and give it to myself. He wound up asking me for gas money even after we were broken up. Of course I said no. And then maybe 2-3 weeks later, I reached back out to him. It was kind of to see, did anything change? It was kind of for closure. Like, did I go through all this for nothing? Because that's also the thing, when you are in a situationship and you pay so much, you're intimate, you do all these things, you don't want it to be for nothing. That's why people fight people's red flags and they put rose-colored glasses on and they fight to stay in toxicity, because you put all this work in and you don't want to give it up. You don't want to think it was for nothing. And he was still the same. He was still emotionally unavailable. He was actually maybe a bit meaner. And that's when I realized I need to cut this off, because nothing has changed. Me leaving did not change him. It probably hurt him that I left, but it didn't hurt him enough to want to change and want to put the effort in. That's the difference between being in an actual fruitful relationship and a situationship. Is when you are in a good relationship, someone is going to do whatever they can to make sure you're comfortable, to make sure you're safe and you're happy. And in that, neither of us did those things. But to get into how did I go from something so toxic, this was 2022, May of 2022, June-ish. By September 2023, I was married. How did a shift like that happen so fast? I've had to sit and think about this a lot, because a lot of people always say before you get into a relationship, you have to heal. You have to heal yourself. You have to work on yourself. And obviously, I'm not a good example of that. After I ended that toxic situationship, a month later, I was talking to a guy long distance, which is my now husband. While healing is so vital and important, it's okay to acknowledge that you can heal yourself while you're with someone. Like, healing doesn't always have to be alone. Healing can be with someone that you love and someone that truly cares for you, because they can actually help and speed up that healing process, as long as they are the right and healthy person for you. When you are in a situationship, after it, you put your guard up because you have fear. You have fear of vulnerability, fear of getting into a relationship again and repeating the same cycles. In order to get change, you have to go through discomfort. You have to go through fear, right? Discomfort, fear is discomfort. And what's the only thing you could do that puts fear in you and makes you uncomfortable is getting into another relationship again. Going headstrong into something that you are scared you could ruin, or someone might mess up, or it could end badly. It makes the most sense to go through it again in a different way. Do it again without the fearful thoughts in your head. Do it again, and this time do it differently, and do it in a way where you can be vulnerable. Do it in a way where you're not going to self-sabotage. And that is what I had to do. And I feel so proud of myself for not letting all of the past relationship wounds and trauma that I have dealt with. I never totally healed from any of it, but I sat down with myself and I told myself, I said, I am no longer available to be in toxic relationships. If I get into anything else, it's gonna be for real. I date for marriage. It became part of my identity. Like, I date for marriage. I don't hook up. I don't do random dates. I don't do random flings. I have a standard in dating. I won't go to your house on a date. You have to take me out. I expect the door open. I shifted my entire mentality in dating because I told myself I am not going to let myself get that low ever again. There was a time where I was so sick out of both ends, and my situationship did not take care of me. He slept, he played games. I was laying on the couch alone, and I thought that was normal. And it's not. It's up to you to change and decide what your relationships look like. And by me doing that, I could have totally sabotaged when I met my husband. I could have used everything from my past against him, but I purposefully didn't. And it's so crazy because I talk so much about inner work and healing that in that moment, I didn't realize that that's what I was doing, like, in my own head. I didn't realize me getting triggered sitting with it and not typing out a response, I didn't realize that that was me healing myself. Instead of just going off and getting into pointless arguments, I would sit with the emotion, explain what I was feeling to him, dig deep into what has happened to me before that this reminds me of, and explain that to him. And he provided me reassurance, and he provided me comfort in saying, hey, like, I don't hold any of this against you, like, that this is not your fault. He just wants to be there for me and help me. And this was only in just the beginning, the first few months of our relationship. And of course, the first few months aren't going to be perfect. I think it's normal to have miscommunication and little spats. We never had like a really full-blown argument in the beginning of our relationship. It was just a lot of miscommunication because we were long distance, but also you're learning this person. You're understanding why they think the way they do, the ways they act. I told myself my boundaries and my standards and what aligns with me, and I upheld those things. So if I noticed that there was something that I did not like that he said or did, I would tell him, and I would see, okay, where's the action? Where's the effort? And he fulfilled it, and he provided it. And that's what we need to look out for. You need to see the action and the effort behind every man that you decide to be with. And it's why people say actions speak louder than words. Men show through action, and it's because it's true. Multiple men said they love me. Multiple men said they want to marry me. Multiple men said they want to take care of me, but none of them ever showed it. And none of them ever gave me the actual evidence that they can go through with those things. But he did. I think in that first month or two, I knew that I was going to marry him. And when I realized that, I knew that I could not mess it up. And I knew that I could not let my past dictate how this is going to go and dictate how this is going to work out. Don't sit there and let the guy before control how you talk to the guy now, control how you treat the guy now. And don't allow, for the same reason that you broke up with the last one, don't let it come back into this relationship and let a different guy do the same thing. You have to have so much self-respect, so much security, and so much discipline to make that change in your dating life, to make that change for yourself, to ensure that you are going to get the best partner and you're going to find the healthiest type of man. It takes work. Marriage takes work. Relationships take work. But fixing yourself in order to get your dream desired outcome takes way more work. I knew I had to take care of myself. And I knew that I still had these issues. I was still dreaming nightmares with exes or past friendships. I was still having terrible dreams and things that were still laying in my subconscious from my past were still creeping up on me. And I knew to myself, I was like, I need to change myself and better myself, not just for my marriage and for him, but because I know that everything that happened to me, it doesn't need to follow me everywhere. It doesn't need to sit here and come back into your dreams. If you are in something that you are not happy with, no one is going to save you. I was the one who chose therapy. I was the one who chose shadow work. I was the one to educate myself on the brain, on trauma. And the thing was, I looked so different. I look so different now compared to when I first met my husband. I have noticed that people do not want to see you grow. People do not want to see you change. But you know you have the right person when they can sense the ease and the calmness that comes with your growth. My husband said, all this work you've been doing, I've noticed you're less anxious. You don't need to have so much control. You're happier. I don't freak out over little things that I can't fix anymore. A man watching that growth and wanting to be with you, not despite it, but because they see how much happier you are as an individual, that is the type of person you want to be with. Because what happens is when you level up, the man that you're with is supposed to come with you. And if he can't, then he is not the one for you. And that's what also a lot of what these situationships are. Sometimes you're in something and you are trying to grow, but he pulls you back down again because he is not ready and you can't force him to change. I had to make that mental shift and that intuitive shift to tell myself, this is what I want and this is what I deserve, and I am not going to go back. A year from when me and my husband met, we got engaged, and then I married him in September. I did not think graduating college and getting out of something so toxic, a little over a year later, I'd be getting married. What I did know is I told myself I'm going to change and I'm going to better myself because I think this is a good guy. and I know that I see a future with him. And I stuck by that. And I made sure I didn't self-sabotage or drive him away. And the result came a lot faster than I ever expected it to. The healthiest version of you, the happiest version of you, that one rests inside of you. That is your most authentic self. But the only way to actually get there is by getting all the crap that's sitting within you and releasing it. Not everyone needs therapy. Maybe get a journal, vent to a friend, record yourself on your phone, write, pray, meditate, watch educational videos about it. There's so many ways. Read self-help books. There's so many ways to get that crud out of you so you can actually get what you know is yours. That's the thing, like what you deeply know you deserve. Like I knew I was meant to be a mom and I was meant to be married. And I knew the type of man I wanted, but because I did not want to do the work and understand my past and understand how my past relationships really affected me, it deterred it for so long. If you keep trying to validate the things you do or the things you say, if you keep trying to validate your anger and your meanness or whatever it is towards someone, if you validate it all the time instead of actually taking time to reflect and look inward as to why you're acting that way, you're never going to get your true deep desires. You're never gonna, like everything that you truly crave, the only way you can get that is if you fix yourself and as if you actually put the work in to reach said thing. Yes, I attracted the man I was going to marry and I was not complete with my healing process, but it's because in that moment I told myself, okay, I am going to put the work in. Like I need to do this now. I could have waited 10 years to do it. I could have waited until I was 50 to do it. I didn't have to go to therapy or, do all this work now, but I wanted something different. I wanted what I knew I deserved. And I think that's the key. You need to sit down with yourself and really think of, what do I deserve? And if it's not all good things, then you need to release it and you need to unpack whatever trauma that you have. You need to do that healing and truly sit with yourself and figure out, why do I not feel deserving of good things? Because that is why you keep getting into situationships and you're getting into toxic things, because deep down you're insecure and you feel like you cannot get a better man. You can't get a man that can provide for you. You feel like you cannot find someone that sees your value and wants to truly take care of you. And I had to be put through the ringer in order to see that in myself. And that was like the first ding, 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 ding in my head. I was like, I know what I deserve. Like what I give to other people, I want that back. So what do I have to do to get that? And it was, I need to change my behavior. I need to change my outlook on men, on life, on marriage, on relationships. I need to stop comparing myself to other people, and I need to look inward and actually understand, okay, what am I giving out that's getting me toxicity? That's getting me the wrong man. That's getting me situationships. And I soon learned I can't control my own triggers. I am not emotionally vulnerable. I have an avoidant attachment style, and I had to mentally stop those things. Like when I felt it, I had to literally like stop myself. And it's hard, but it's that feeling in your gut of wanting it so bad. And it wasn't I wanted him so bad. It wasn't that I wanted marriage so bad. I was just telling myself, I need to prove to myself that I can be in something healthy. I need to prove to myself that I can have a man that caters to me and that wants to provide and protect me. Like I want that. You can move forward in your healing journey however you see fit, however it feels right for you. You can start your healing process right where you are now. Like whether you're in a relationship, you're in a situationship, you're single, you can start that process now, because that is what's going to attract the right things. Everything you desire, that's what's going to do it. Because guess what? If you're in a situationship right now and you start that healing process, it's going to be way faster for you to realize, okay, this is the things that's wrong with this person and this is why it's not going to work. Your self-awareness becomes insane. And let's say you're with the man you want to be with forever, so you constantly feel like you're the one that's the issue, you're the toxic one. Okay, then do something about it. If this is the guy that you want to stay with forever, then put the work in and actually be like, okay, like I'm going to make myself a better person, not only so our relationship can prosper, but because I want it for myself. And I know the type of partner I can be. Don't sell yourself short. Don't think that all you're meant for is men with red flags. Don't hate all men. Don't think that all you can get is toxicity. Don't think that you attract the wrong guys, because that's not true. If you are attracting the wrong guys, it's not the guy's fault, it's your fault. Look inward. Look inward. I am at the most insane amount of peace I've ever felt in my life. It's because everything in my past isn't dragging me down anymore. Everything that happens to me does not affect me any longer, because I work on my triggers and I don't let things anger me. And when they do, I allow myself to feel it, and I let out the anger or the crying or the sadness. I let the emotion out and I let it play out. And now I don't feel the need to sit and cry for 30 minutes anymore. Usually I can do it in like 10 minutes. I let the emotion play out, and then I sit myself and I ask myself, okay, what wound is that from? That's why I'm reacting this way. And I know I still have to work on it, and I do every day. But my reaction is no longer anger. It's no longer cursing or throwing things or smashing materials, whatever it is. Don't use your past wounds to sabotage yourself or hurt other people. That's the point. The person you're meant to be is there. You need to sit with yourself and think to yourself, like what I did is, okay, I sat there and thought of my dream relationship. I didn't think of, in terms of career, who are my dream friends? I didn't plan out my whole life. Just take one thing. Take one thing in your life and you're like, what does that dream world look like? What does my dream marriage, relationship, partner look like? What do they do? How do they speak to me? What do we do together? How does every day feel? How do I feel going to bed at night? Like, you need to sit and think about that and then compare it to your current reality and understand, okay, these are the changes I have to make. What am I doing that is giving me my undesired outcome? What am I doing that is attracting this wrong person, attracting this event, attracting this feeling? And change it within you, so then you can become smarter and you can remove yourself from it, and it no longer wants you, and you will attract what you truly desire and what you deserve. Okay, ladies, I'm going to let you go here. I kind of just had to sit down and let all of this out. It felt really good to just speak from my head and not jot anything down. I almost wanted to write out something or put some notes about different pieces I wanted to talk about, but it felt a lot better coming this way and just speaking to you guys like this. So I hope you ladies enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.